I never thought I'd be writing a post like this, but here I am, still processing what happened last week. My son is in 4th grade and has always had a deep fascination with space. Ever since he was little, he'd gaze up at the stars, asking endless questions. When he discovered what NASA was, something in him lit up. For context, I've been working at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, in Pasadena for nearly 15 years. I'm part of the team that designs propulsion systems for deep space missions. It's not flashy like being an astronaut, but it's meaningful, challenging work, and I love it. My son has always taken pride in what I do. A few weeks ago, he came home unusually quiet. My wife noticed it first during dinner. When we asked what was wrong, he shrugged, clearly holding something back. With a little gentle coaxing, he finally admitted what had happened. "Mrs. K said I made it up," he mumbled, poking at his food. "Made what up?" I asked. "That you work for NASA," he whispered. Apparently, they had been sharing about their parents' jobs for Career Day. When my son mentioned that I helped build rockets at NASA, his teacher accused him of lying to get attention. My wife and I exchanged glances, both stunned. "She said NASA engineers don't live around here," he continued. "She said they live in Florida or Houston. She told me I should stop making up stories." I was furious, but I didn't want to shake his confidence by lashing out. I calmly explained that some people aren't familiar with JPL in California, but that didn't excuse what she said. The next day, I emailed his teacher and asked to speak during the upcoming parent-teacher night. Her reply was polite but dismissive. She looked forward to clearing up misunderstandings. When the night came, my wife insisted on joining. "I'm not missing this," she said as we drove to the school. She was as angry as I was, but composed. The classroom was ironically decorated with space posters. Mrs. K, a woman probably in her 50s, greeted us with a polite but stiff smile. "Thanks for coming," she said, motioning to the chairs in front of her desk. "I understand there was a bit of confusion about Career Day." "Actually," I said, keeping my tone even, "there seems to be a misunderstanding on your end. My son was telling the truth when he said I work for NASA." She gave a slight tilt of the head. "I've been teaching for 27 years. Kids say all sorts of things. I prefer to encourage truthfulness over fantasy." My wife sat silently, letting me take the lead as we'd agreed. "I completely agree on the importance of honesty," I replied, pulling out my work badge. In this case, my son was being entirely truthful. "I'm an engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory." I handed her the badge with my name, photo, and the NASA logo. Her expression shifted slightly, though she still looked uncertain. "JPL, that's NASA?" she asked, inspecting the badge. "I thought NASA was just in Texas or Florida." "NASA has facilities all over the country," I explained. "JPL is managed by Caltech and focuses on robotic space missions like the Mars rovers." She handed back the badge, looking visibly unsure now. "I wasn't aware. But you have to admit, it sounded a bit unlikely." "What's truly unlikely," my wife finally said, her voice firm but calm, "is that you would publicly accuse a child of lying without checking the facts first. A quick search could have spared him a lot of embarrassment." Mrs. K flushed. "I wouldn't say I humiliated him." "You told him, in front of the entire class, that he was lying to get attention," I cut in. "How do you think that made him feel?" She went quiet, the weight of the situation seeming to settle on her. After a moment, she sighed. "You're right. I should have handled it differently. I'm sorry." "We're not the ones who deserve the apology," my wife pointed out. "Of course," Mrs. K nodded. "I'll talk to him tomorrow and clear things up with the class." I shook my head. A private apology isn't enough. You doubted him in front of everyone, so the correction should be just as public. Eventually, we agreed that she would apologize to our son and use it as a learning moment, a brief lesson about NASA's different branches and locations. As we were about to leave, I had an idea. "Would you be open to me coming in for a proper Career Day presentation? I could bring along some approved material from JPL. I think the kids would love learning about Mars missions." Her demeanor changed instantly. Her eyes lit up, and for the first time that evening, her smile seemed genuine. "That would be amazing. The students would absolutely love that. 2 weeks later, I stood in front of a group of 25 wide-eyed fourth graders. I brought JPL-approved handouts, a model of the Perseverance rover, and short videos of our missions. The kids were bursting with questions. Hands flew up faster than I could keep track. But what meant the most to me was the look on my son's face. He was glowing with pride, watching me explain the work I do. Mrs. K stood quietly at the back, fully engaged and even asking thoughtful questions. After the talk, she came over and thanked me sincerely. "I made a serious error in judgment," she admitted. "I've learned never to assume, and to always do my research before challenging a student's claim." Since then, my son has been more confident, more enthusiastic about school. Just last week, he told me he wants to work at JPL someday too. Whether he does or not doesn't really matter. What matters is that he knows his voice is heard and his dreams are real. As for Mrs. K, she's been surprisingly humble throughout the whole process. She even started planning a space-themed unit for next month and asked me to help fact-check her material. The takeaway: standing up for your child doesn't always mean confrontation. Sometimes, it opens the door to growth, not just for your kid, but for the adults involved too. And every now and then, it might just lead to a classroom full of kids getting genuinely excited about space. And in my book, that's always a win.